guys, so today I'm going to be showing you how I do my whole base routine, my foundation, my blush, my bronzer, all that stuff. Everything that's not eyeshadow and lips. This is kind of a video that I forget is important sometimes because one, I feel like I'm always showing you guys how I do my skin in all my videos, but I don't really explain it. And sometimes I don't explain it because I just kind of like assume, I don't know why, that with all the YouTube videos and the Instagram and everything that everybody's always talking about makeup, I always just assume that people know what I'm doing or know why I'm doing it. But then I continuously get asked questions about it and I'm like, I don't know, why do I assume that people know that? Yeah, I just feel like there's so much information out there. But I think that I do things differently, especially from the typical YouTuber or Instagrammer. If you guys aren't familiar with my style, it's a lot more natural. I don't love full coverage. I like more glow, as you can obviously see. I explain like all of my favorite products, every step I do, why I do it, all that kind of good stuff. So yes, if you are typically a full coverage kind of gal, I wouldn't stray away from this video because I have people all the time tell me like, oh, you don't need full coverage because your skin is perfect. First of all, my skin's not perfect. I guess I am lucky that it is skin colored, but the whole section of my face right here is all little tiny bumps. I do have some freckles that have grown into bigger freckles. Although I'm so thankful that I don't struggle with a lot of acne or anything like that. I've had a lot of people lately tell me, who are typically full coverage people, saying like, thick full coverage matte makeup really doesn't look that good on my skin. And I'm like, yeah, I know. If you typically wore a more full coverage base, I would definitely recommend to try my ways because I have converted some people. It's nice to have your skin look like skin, you know? It's nice to look like yourself, but like a little better. I really hope that this video is helpful for you guys. I hope you learn something new. And if you want to see how I do my base, let's get into it. So the first thing that we are going to be talking about is primer. I feel like primer is kind of optional. I personally do not use primer to prolong the wear of my makeup. For me personally, my skin is more dry. So I kind of use it as an extra step to hydrate my skin before foundation, just to make sure my foundation is going on nice and smooth. If you guys have seen any of my videos, I'm sure it is no surprise to you that my favorite primer is the First Aid Beauty Coconut Skin Smoothie Priming Moisturizer. It's a very long name. I can never remember the whole thing, but I absolutely love this primer because it is very moisturizing and it just makes your skin look so nice and smooth and hydrated and glowy. So I always am using this primer. Even if I don't wear makeup, I use this primer all the time because it just makes my skin look really nice. So yeah, just something that I use pretty much every day, even if I'm not wearing makeup. I have two other primers to just mention to you guys that I do really enjoy, but they're just not my favorites. I don't use them all the time. The first is the Becca Backlight Priming Filter. This primer is very nice if you want the glow. It's very glowy, makes your skin look really smooth and nice, but it's just not as hydrating as the First Aid Beauty one, so that's just kind of why I don't personally use it as often. And then the next one is a Smashbox Primerizer. This is another good one if you want the hydration, but it doesn't really have the glow. So again, I opt for the First Aid Beauty one because it gives me both. So that is two other ones that I recommend, but they're just not my favorite. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put on the primer now. Basically just putting it on like a moisturizer, and I do kind of get right up under my eyes. I do have sensitive eyes, but this does not bother my eyes at all. And I just like to have that glow and hydration everywhere that I possibly can. So before we talk about foundation, I want to talk about one other thing that is color correcting. Because if you were to color correct, now would be the time to do it. I have become like so anti-color correction, at least in like this social media beauty world, because I absolutely hate the trend that surrounds this color correcting thing. Color correcting is a really awesome thing. Actually, we learned it so much about it in makeup school. We did it for like everybody that we worked on pretty much. Like it was just something that they taught us a lot about. And I will just tell you that real color correcting is nothing like you see on Instagram. No real makeup artist should ever be putting a bright red lipstick underneath your eyes. To be honest with you, a little color correcting, sure, especially if you're a working makeup artist and you're doing makeup for events. I, honest to God, do not know any average woman that for the average day needs to do excessive amounts of color correcting. Maybe if you have a really bad breakout and you want to put some color correction in your breakouts, or unless you just have had no sleep and your under eyes are super, super bad, you can put a little color correction on there, but I would just be very careful of the products that you use for that. I do not want to really get into it right now. One thing that I do use sometimes, and it's really like, if you guys can see this dark spot that I have right here, it's just like a freckle that grew out of control. I use the Laura Mercier Secret Camouflage Concealer, right? Yeah, Secret Camouflage Concealer. This comes with like a more yellow tone and then a more peachy tone. You guys can see that there. And I usually will just kind of focus, I'll do it a little bit, but just focus a little bit of that peachy tone on my dark spot and like boom, it's gone. And then I'll put my foundation over it. But if I am going to color correct or anything or spot conceal, this is what I use. I will do it before my foundation just in case it's not the exact color of my foundation. I can put the foundation over it to kind of even everything out. So for foundation, I have kind of a lot to talk to you about. If you're around here at all, you know my two favorite foundations of all time. Maybelline Fit Me, Dewy and Smooth. This is it. It's been well loved. It's very dirty. Oh yeah. Bourjois Healthy Mix Serum. Both of these are very affordable. This is, I don't even know how much this is anymore. It used to be like $8. This is like $12. Very affordable. The Bourjois, you can't like go to a store in the United States and get it, but I get it off ASOS. I love ASOS because they have like they basically have Amazon Prime. It's like $19 for 2-day shipping. So I just always get these on ASOS. Those are like my favorite of all time. I will wear every day. I will wear to events. I will wear just for whatever. If I'm going for full coverage, full glam, if I'm just going to an event or doing a photo shoot or anything like that, I opt for the NARS Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation. I did a whole entire video about this with the Tarte Shape Tape Foundation. So if you want like my in-depth thoughts about this, you can go watch that video. Two like honorable mentions. One is the L'Oreal Pro Glow. I do really like this foundation. I don't use it all the time, but I do really like it. Another one that's newer to me, and again, I really like it. This was in a video I did to a Sephora haul, I think, that I did like a try-on haul. This is the Natasha Denona Face Glow Foundation. I do really like this. This is a light color for me, so I do have to mix it in with a foundation mixer, but I do really like it. Something else that is new to me that I have been loving, a friend actually gave it to me, is the Skin Feels Good by Lancome. This has been something I've been using like all the time, so I think I'm going to be using this one today just because it's just newer to me and it's just exciting to me right now. And something I do want to mention, because if you guys don't know, I am a major self-tanner. I'm always self-tanning. I'm always a different color. So for example, like the Natasha Denona foundation is more often than not way too light for me. So I always use the NYX Pro Foundation Mixer. This is in the shade Olive. But these are really good for if you want to lighten foundations, darken foundations. They don't really change the texture or the finish or the coverage of your foundation. They just change the color. So this is a great product to have on hand, and it's NYX, so it is very affordable. So when it comes to foundation, especially ones with a pump, like this one has a pump, you can always pump it on the back of your hand. I personally like to use a metal palette so my hands stay clean and it stays sanitary. It's really good, easy to just like wipe it off with some alcohol and a paper towel. So just pump my foundation on there. And for foundation and concealer, I always use a beauty blender. I used to go back and forth, but just like Nothing compares to the Beauty Blender. It goes on so nice, so smooth. It definitely helps to add a little extra hydration to your face. For me, I just never really like the way my makeup looks anymore if I use a brush. A brush that I do really like though, if you guys do like brushes, is the Morphe M439. It's just like a really big buffing brush. You can cover a lot of area in a small amount of time. So that's a really good brush. But to me, I just like a Beauty Blender, so I just pick up my foundation. And if you aren't familiar with the Beauty Blender, then you want to pounce it on and not like swipe or anything like that. As you can see, this foundation is darker than my face. I almost never self-tan my face, or even if I do, it just comes off so fast because I am always washing my face. So my foundation is usually always darker than my face, but I try to match it to my neck and stuff. My self-tanner is fading a little bit right now, so it's not a perfect match, so we'll just do one of these. Because I definitely have like more tanner on my chest, but it's kind of faded on my neck, so we'll fake it. And just really make sure to go over everything a couple times just to make sure everything's blended. So next we are going to move on to concealer. I don't have a lot of concealers to talk about. I am so picky about concealers. My under eyes are very dry and I just feel like I do have like a lot of lines. Like my creases from where my eyes open are just pretty deep. Eyeballs must be like way too big for my actual eye opening. But I don't know, I'm just very picky. I feel like there's very few concealers that actually look good, that don't emphasize lines, that don't emphasize texture, that don't make your eyes look dry. Like very few that don't make you look older than you are. Favorite I've had for a long time is the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Glow. I know that some people struggle with this one burning their eyes, and I really do have sensitive eyes. I don't know why I don't and other people do, because seriously my eyes are so sensitive. Another one that's a newer favorite of mine is the Too Faced Born This Way. This is more of a full coverage concealer, so I often mix the two together. So for one, the color, as you can see, this one is a lot lighter than the L'Oreal one. So I like to mix them for color and also to kind of sheer out the Born This Way, because I like things to look more natural. So what I do with the Born This Way is I basically just dot it in places that I need more coverage. So it's pretty much like there, and I bring it down because to help give extra coverage to that little spot, and then it'll also help to highlight the face since this one's a little darker. So just a couple dots for that one, and then I will kind of just really go over it with the L'Oreal one. So again, just blending it out with the pointy side of the Beauty Blender. I guess maybe I should mention that doing skin before eyes, if I'm not gonna really wear eyeshadow, I always do skin before eyes. Well, obviously because I'm not doing eyes today, like I'm not gonna wear eyeshadow. But if I am doing like a full-blown glam eyeshadow look, I will do my eyes first, in which case I will obviously prime my eyes with, I usually just use my concealer, do my eyes, and then if I were to do concealer, I would just do underneath. But since I'm not doing any eyeshadow today, I'm just kind of going over everything with the concealer. And then I will kind of just bring whatever's left under here. I think everybody gets redness right under their nose, and I just kind of bring it all the way around to connect it with the rest of it. Before you go and set with any powders, you're going to want to finish up with any cream products that you are wanting to use. I don't use too many anymore. I used to use a lot of like cream bronzer, cream contour, whatever. I'm sorry, my voice is like going out on me right now. Ugh. Something that I have been using a lot is a cream highlighter. Well, actually, I don't even know. This is the Falsies Jelly Beam Illuminator in Glazed. I've been just loving this product. I've been doing a lot of like layering products, which you will of course see. I will use this just so you guys can see how it looks. This is kind of an unnecessary step if you don't want to be extra like me. This is the highlighter. It's just so pretty. I just love it. And I just feel like layering the products just helps to give, I don't know, just more of a glow from within. I don't know. So I'm just taking this on the high points of the cheeks with the Beauty Blender, and then I just kind of take whatever's left and bring it up this side of my forehead in a C shape. And if I get it over my eyebrows, I don't care. I'll go over them with pencil in a little bit. But you can just see this is just like the most natural highlighter. It just is so pretty. Look at that. Oh my goodness. And I'll just take like a little bit more. Put it on the very tops of my cheekbones. I love it. Alright, so now we're going to talk about powder. Again, if you guys watch me, you pretty much know my favorites. I'm very, like, I just stick with the same stuff all the time. Although I do have different things to talk about. But I have talked about the Fit Me powder from Maybelline so much. This is the Set and Smooth powder. You can see, like, I've literally beaten this to death. And this is, like, my second one this year, I think. Like, I beat this thing up. But I have been not using it lately. I know. So I absolutely love this for around the eyes. It's very nice to just do a light layer of powder that doesn't make you look too dry, that doesn't emphasize texture or lines or anything. That being said, this is not necessarily a bad thing, but I just felt like my under eyes were never completely set down. So sometimes my concealer would still move throughout the day. To me, it's no big deal. Like when I'm in the bathroom, I look at my under eyes, I just go like this a little bit and then like I'm good to go. So it didn't bother me, but I have been really liking another powder, which I also showed this in my haul. I believe it was, I forget, it was the Sephora haul or whatever it was. And I was kind of unsure about it in the moment. Now that I've used it more, I do really like it. And that is the Charlotte Tilbury Charlotte's Genius Magic Powder Under Eye and Face. This powder is nice. It does have a nice glow to it, but it does set down your eyes a lot more. I don't love this for the rest of my face because I have something else for the rest of my face that I love so much. Yeah, this is just what I've been using for under my eyes. So before I go in and set, I will always take my beauty blender one more time and make sure I get out any creases on my eyelids and under my eyes, because you're just gonna set down your creases if you go and set down, you know, over your creases. Just taking a smaller brush. This one's from Morphe and Jaclyn Hill, the JH07, and I also really love this one, which is the Sigma. Oh, it's completely gone. I have no idea, but whatever. I'm using the Jaclyn Hill one. And I just set right under the eyes. And I just take kind of whatever's in the cap and then tap it off and then set over my eyelids. Sorry if you can see the dust flying in the air. And again, just setting around my eyes, and that's it. Next, for the rest of my face, I'm going to use the Hourglass Veil Translucent Setting Powder. I love this powder. It makes your face look like freaking velvet. I love it. And again, I have dry skin, so I don't like things to make me matte. I just wanted to set down my makeup. Yeah, maybe I should explain that, right? Set down my eyes, because I don't want the concealer to continue to move and crease up on me. I want to set my face, not because I want to control any oils, for me at least. If you go in with bronzer, blush, and stuff like that over wet, sticky foundation, then it's not going to blend nice. You got to set it with a powder first, and then powder obviously blends better over powder, not over like a sticky, wet foundation. So I always set down my face. I always do it pretty lightly. Like a traditional big powder brush works. I use this sometimes too. This is again just from the Jaclyn Hill collection, the JH01. But every freaking brush company has a big brush like this. My favorite powder brush they don't even make anymore is this Real Techniques. It's like pretty dirty because I use it all the time. But it's a duo fiber face brush. It's just very like light and flimsy. It's perfect for like putting a really light amount of powder down. I really need to find a dupe for this because I feel bad when people want it and can't find it. So today I'm going to use just the big powder brush. And because with this powder too, it's like when I put a lot of powder on, it doesn't look bad. So because I put that cream highlight down, I'm gonna really try to stay away from the very tops of my cheekbones. I definitely wanna hit like down here because that's where I'm gonna be putting my blush, my bronzer. I really like to set down along my jawline in case I'm sitting and I'm going like this. And again, this powder, like usually I'd be very like gentle with powder or very light-handed with powder, but this one's just like, it just doesn't matter because it looks so good. So that does kind of take down that highlight, but that's okay. You can still see it a little bit. And trust me, we're gonna go in with more. So from here, now we are done with the base projects. We are going to be talking about bronzer, blush, and highlight. Bronzer, contour, whatever. So for me, bronzer and contour are two completely different things. Bronzer is for adding color to your face, adding bronze to your face, kind of like livening up your skin. Contour is to add shape to your face. And so I personally do use a bronzer to contour, especially day to day. I used to like use very like cool contour products. I don't really do that anymore. So I will show you what I do for bronzing. I really love the Matte Gimme Sun. It's very warm. It's not completely matte. It has like a little sheen to it. I love this Morphe M509 brush. So I just swirl that in there really good. And yeah, this is just a very like, I like smaller brushes for this because I don't like it when my product gets where I don't want it. When you have a really big brush, things can tend to kind of get everywhere. So I will kind of not necessarily get under the cheekbones like for a contour, but kind of go like right on top of my whole cheekbone. So this one I'm being like, yes, more like general kind of sloppy with it. Bring it up the sides of my face and hit my forehead. And then I'll usually just take a little bit and go just whatever's left on my brush right over my nose. Obviously, so with bronzer, it's more like where the sun would hit you. The sun's gonna hit you at like the top of your forehead, the top of your nose, more on the tops of your cheekbones. If you feel like you went a little overboard, like on my forehead there, you just take your powder brush and just kind of tone it down a bit. So for giving more shape to my face, I really, really just love Hoola by Benefit. It is just a staple. I've been really loving the JH05 brush for doing this. I was tapping off extra product. And so I just go like right under my cheekbones with this. I try not to do like too much too contoury, and then I don't really add more. Since I bronzed on my forehead, I just kind of bring whatever is left on my brush over to the top of my forehead, just to kind of make everything blend. If you want to do a little bit right here too, you can. I don't love doing that. So same thing, kind of focusing more towards the back too, like the back by the hairline and under the cheekbones. If you bring it too far forward, it's gonna look like dirty and muddy. And then I'll usually just take whatever's left on the brush and just kind of hit the sides of my nose just to give it a little more shape. I don't like when the nose gets lost in the face. To me, it's a necessity to do both products. To me, it just makes a really big difference because the bronzer just helps to blend that contour to the rest of your face. What I'm gonna do next is step 2 out of my 3-step highlighting process. I am going to use the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder in Luminous Light. This is just a very, very subtle, natural, glowy product. Yeah, I'm gonna give the more natural glow from within kind of situation. So I've been loving this brush, the JH06. I've just been really liking the Jaclyn Hill collection. So taking that in there, and I'll just generally go over all the highlight areas. This is a very like natural looking powder, so I'm not afraid to kind of like go everywhere with it. I'm sorry, my voice, I don't know what's happening. Next, I'm gonna go in with blush. Me personally, I don't really like a bright blush. I like it to be more natural, nudie, peachy, maybe a little bronzy. I have 2 to talk about that are my absolute favorite. I do have and use other blushes, but to me, these are just my favorite. The first one is MAC Warm Soul. This is kind of like an OG blush product. It's just very natural and pretty. The next is the Burt's Bees blush in Toasted Cinnamon. Oh, this is the best. I love this blush. I haven't used it in a while because I was trying to use other things, but I'm gonna use it today. So just kind of starting on the apples of my cheeks and blending it back. And again, I'm not a big blush person, so I don't make a big stink about it. I'm gonna call it good. So next for highlight, we're going to do like the intense glow, okay? One I've been using quite frequently is the Dose of Colors Desi and Katie Fuego. Not gonna use it today. I'm gonna use like my staple, which is Becca Moonstone. I usually use the Anastasia A23. I just can't find it in my little brush cup here, so I must have misplaced it. Oops. So I'm just gonna use the one that came in the Dark with Hill collection. You're gonna want like a smaller brush, since obviously we got a lot of glow going on. I'm just gonna use this for the very high points of the cheekbones. I guess something I didn't really explain, if you don't really know, I'm assuming like most people know this because I'm assuming if you watch this, you watch a lot of YouTube videos, but it's still questions I get asked. So anything that is dark, bronzer or contour is going to recede, bring in. Anything that we are going to highlight is going to bring out. Do the tops of the cheekbones so our cheekbones look bigger and poppin'. And love the glow to look very like hydrated for me and healthy. And I will just do a little bit at the top of my lip. I don't love a lot of highlight there, but so the next thing is actually setting down your makeup with a setting spray. This is again not like a necessity. They have a lot of them that are actually meant to make your makeup last longer. It's not really what I'm going for, especially because I have dry skin. Like my skin just does really hold on to the makeup. So if that's something you have an issue with, like the Urban Decay ones are very good for me. It's more about meshing the products together, taking down that powdered look. One is the, again, OG staple MAC Fix Plus. This is just like a staple product I feel like everybody needs in their life. It has so many uses, not just setting down your makeup, but lately for setting down my makeup, I've been loving the Morphe one. The continuous setting mist, the mist on it is so nice. It feels so good. I feel like it really takes down that powder look. So I'm just going to go to town. And it smells so nice. Makes your skin look so nice. I am just gonna hop off camera real fast, touch up my brows, put on just like some mascara and lipstick, and I'll be right back. Just in case anybody is wondering, I am wearing ColourPop's Avenue liquid lipstick, the matte lipstick on my lips. But yeah, that concludes everything. That is how I do my foundation or my base or whatever, my skin products. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Please give it a thumbs up if you did, and I hope it was helpful. Feel free to ask me any questions that you have in the comment section down below, or leave any requests of anything that you want to see. Don't forget to subscribe to see more of me and more of Phoebe, who is down here taking a little nap. I would say to tick the little notification bell to get notified when I upload, but everybody's telling me that they're not getting notified when I upload, so I guess you can tick the bell if you want. It's not gonna really do anything, but I guess you could, just in case. Or you can just follow me on Instagram too. I'll just post when I upload, since no one gets notified. At least you can watch my Instagram stories, since my posts don't come up on the feed. I love social media. But yeah, that's all for today. I will see you guys in my next one. Bye!